Hey guys, I would like to talk with you about activating your vagus nerve. So, what is your vagus nerve and why is it important to activate it? Well, your vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. It originates from your brainstem and it comes in a pairing. So, it comes both sides down from your brainstem, and it's the only cranial nerve that innervates below the neck. So, it has a lot of responsibility. It helps regulate autonomic functions. So, things you don't have to think about doing, your body just does it for you. So if you are struggling with things like cardiac health, poor digestion, difficulty regulating your emotions, mental health, respiratory issues, anything along those lines, then activating and toning your vagus nerve will only be of benefit to you. So, how do you do that? Well, here's 5 tips on how you can activate your vagus nerve. The first one is going to be a little bit lengthier. This one's about light, sunlight, and screen time. So, let's get a little background here. In the morning, the sunlight is more warm in wavelength, so the red and yellow hues. By the time it gets to be around noon, you have the sharper wavelengths. So these are going to be along the lines of the blue lights. As you go on later in the day, the sun starts to go down. We go back to the warmer, and that's the red and yellow again. Now, when that's happening, other chemical processes in our body are being triggered. In this case, it's melatonin. Melatonin is like the start of the race, right? The shotgun for the start of the race. It's there to trigger, hey, we're getting ready for sleep. Sleep is about to commence. So, what ends up happening in a lot of our lifestyles is we're still using blue light at that time. So, that might be a computer, a TV, a tablet, a phone. And then now that's sending messages to your brain that it's noontime, not bedtime. And if you're thinking, well, I still fall asleep or stay asleep, so it's not a problem for me, I can leave my TV on all night. First off, I see you, I feel you, I was one of them. But what the truth is, yes, okay, that is the truth. You may be able to fall asleep and stay asleep. Yes. But what else may be going on is your optimal sleep may be hindered. So you may not be getting the restful phases of sleep at the right time or for the right duration of time. I made a video, 5 tips on optimizing sleep. Check that one out. So let's go back to the light because that's the subject at hand. So when it comes to the light, if you do need to be on your screens, maybe for work or for whatever other reason you may have, set yourself up for success by using this blue light blocking filters on your devices, using blue light blocking glasses, things like that will help you. One of the best things you can also do is stop your screens altogether, at least an hour before bed, ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed. But again, that I'm not here to judge. You may have other things, extenuating circumstances that may be true for you. So blue light blocking filters or glasses would be great for you to use. All right, tip number 2 is laughter and connection. This one is great. Set yourself up for opportunity to get that laughter and connection. I like to watch funny videos. That might be dry bar comedy, some of the old Carol Burnett stuff on YouTube, whatever that may be. Connect with old friends and family, people that you have shared history, maybe inside jokes, funny family or friend experiences. Bring those situations up so you guys can laugh about them together. There's a lot of benefits of connection that go far beyond just activating your vagus nerve. I'm not going to get into that, but just know that one has multiple benefits all in itself. Tip number 3 is gargling. Gargle any fluid that you want. I like to use salt water. This one, you can put your throat, you want to get your throat straight and you want to gargle as hard as you can. What it's doing is it's causing vibrations and it's vibrating against your both sides of your vagus nerve. So that's going to help activate and tone your vagus nerve. Tip number 4 is this one I recommend. It's cold water immersion. That one may sound very off-putting to a lot of you. I get it. I'm there with you. But this one actually has some really good benefits to it for activating your vagus nerve. So talk to your doctor if you have any chronic autoimmune or extreme situations. Maybe you have like thyroid conditions and that kind of extreme cold, things like that. Talk with your doctor first to make sure it's safe. I know that I do cold water immersion myself to an extent. I can't do it to the extent as some other people can because of some old injury nervous system things that I have going on, it actually does more harm than it does good. So again, that one's a double-edged sword. Talking to your provider will help. All right, tip number 5 is reducing overall inflammation in the body. Now, when I'm talking about this one, I'm talking about chronic inflammation, not acute. Acute inflammation means you just got an injury. It's you may have inflammation for, a couple, 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? Anything longer than a few weeks is now chronic inflammation, and it may not be going away. Acute, again, short term, sudden short term, that is beneficial. Inflammation in that sense is beneficial. Chronic inflammation, not ideal, not what you want to have going on. And that's going to interfere with your nervous system and overall health. So what can you do? Most of us jump to things like medications like ibuprofen, Aleve, Celebrex, all of those, types of anti-inflammatories. Again, for acute situations, they may be appropriate, but for chronic, they may not be appropriate. Those medications, and I'm not saying every single one of them, but the vast majority of them, what they do is they actually block certain things in the inflammatory process. And that's what helps alleviate some of the pain and swelling, which can be helpful, yes. But because you block some of the inflammation process, then the healing and repair and healing process may also be hindered. So complete resolution from the inflammation itself may be obscured. And talk with your doctor about this again to make sure it's appropriate for you. But for chronic inflammation, there are other ways you can address it. When we're talking about inflammation, I want you to think of the acronym STAIN, like a stain on the carpet. STAIN. S is for stress. T is for toxins. A is for allergens. I is for infections. N is for nutrition. And that's the one I'm going to focus on. We can make another video all about inflammation. So we'll do that here in the near future. But for this one, I'm just going to talk about the nutrition part. If you have a diet and you're eating foods that are high inflammatory, right? They're really promoting the inflammatory process. They're likely going to be high in sugar. They're going to be heavily processed, fake foods like genetically modified foods, things along those lines. Reducing that in your overall diet will only be a benefit to you. So when I coach people, I don't like to think of it as all or nothing. Right? Most of the time, that's what we tend to do. Oh, I'm going to remove all of these things, all sugar and all of these things out of my diet. And we do great for a little bit. And now we're struggling. So what I recommend people to do is always do something. Start small, right? If you have a highly processed diet, start by adding in more nutrient dense foods, fresh fruits and vegetables. If you're looking to reduce the overall amount of sugar, using fresh fruit, using things like healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts, and seeds can actually help reduce the cravings in that chemical process in that regard. So I want you to focus on small steps when it comes to changing nutrition. If that's a real struggle for you or you struggle to remain consistent, make one small change, get comfortable with that, and then make another change and keep going, right? Steady wins the race in this case. All right, guys, that overall 5 tips. Blue light blocking, laughing and connection. We want to gargle as hard as you can. Reducing overall inflammation. And I did forget the other one. That was the cold water immersion can be very helpful in that case. All right, follow us. We have other social media followings on Instagram and Facebook. And comment below if you found this to be helpful or if you have questions or things to add in. Comment below. We'd love to hear from you, and other people can learn from you just as much as you can learn from others. All right, guys, we will see you again soon.